come on.
Okay, so we're live. Dasa Vrindavanam Vande Krishna Dasa Prabhum Tata Chandravatar Chaitanya Leela Vishakha Dino Do Nityananda Prabja Karunarena Bhushito Vyakta-chano Vurachincho Vavande Vyasadupino Shri Guru Gaur-gandharva Govindascha Ganaisaha Jayanti Patakascha Sarvesham Karunartino. So we are continuing with Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Unfortunately, yesterday's recording was lost, so sorry for those of you who missed some of the verses. We're going to continue where we left off. We are still in Adi Leela chapter 10, hearing about the trunk, branches, and sub-branches of the Chaitanya tree.
Vishakha Devi ki jai.
Jai Gurudev. Kashi Mishra Pradyumna Mishra Rai Bhavananda Jaha Milane Prabhu Paila Ananda. In the list of devotees at Jagannath Puri, which begins with Paramananda Puri, Srup Damodar, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and Gopinath Acharya, Kashi Mishra was the 5th, Pradyumna Mishra the 6th, and Bhavananda Rai the 7th. Lord Chaitanya took great pleasure in meeting with them. Alingan Koditade Bolilo Vachan Tumi Pandu Pancha Pandav Toma Nandam. Embracing Rai Bhavananda, the Lord declared to him, "You formerly appeared as Pandu, and your 5 sons appeared as the 5 Pandavas." And so these 5 sons, they include Ramananda Rai, who of course is a very intimate associate of Mahaprabhu. And so the next verse is telling us those 5 sons: Ramananda Rai, Patanayak, Gopinath, Kalanidhi, Sudanidhi, and Nayaka Vaninath. E Pancha Pucha Tomar, Mor Priya Patra, Ramananda Saha Moy Deho Bera Matra. Mahaprabhu told Bhavananda Rai, "Your 5 sons are all my dear devotees. Ramananda Rai and I are one, although our bodies are different." Prataparudra Rajar, Odra Krishna Nanda, Paramananda Mahapatra, Odra Shivananda, Bhagavanacharya, Brahmanandakya Bharati, Shishiki Mahiti, Murari Mahiti. King Prataparudra of Orissa, the Aryan devotees Krishnananda and Shivananda, and Paramananda Mahapatra, Bhagavanacharya, Brahmananda Bharati, Shishiki Mahiti, and Murari Mahiti, constantly associated with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu while he resided in Jagannath Puri. Madhavi Devi Shiki Mahitir Bhagini, Shri Radha Dasi Madhya Jana Magani. Madhavi Devi, the 17th of the prominent devotees, was the younger sister of Shiki Mahiti. She is considered to have formerly been a maidservant of Srimati Radharani. Ishwar Purir Shishya Brahmachari Kashishwar Shri Govinda Nam Tar Priyanachar. Brahmachari Kashishwar was a disciple of Ishwar Puri, and Shri Govinda was another of his dear disciples. Tar Siddhi Kare Dohe Tar Agya Paya Nila Chole Prabhustane Milila Asiya. In the list of prominent devotees at Nilachal, Jagannath Puri, Kashishwar was the 18th and Govinda the 19th. They both came to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri, being thus ordered by Ishwara Puri at the time of his passing away. Gurur Sambandhe Manya Koilo Duha Kade Taragyamani Seva Dilendo Hade. Both Kashishwar and Govinda were godbrothers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and thus the Lord duly honored them as soon as they arrived. But because Ishvara Puri had ordered them to give Mahaprabhu personal service, the Lord accepted their service. So this is an interesting point, and this comes up later in Chaitanya Charitamrita. This Kashishvar and Govinda, they're technically godbrothers with Mahaprabhu's guru, right? So technically, they're senior to Mahaprabhu. And so Mahaprabhu is faced with this dilemma, right? Because they've been ordered, they're direct disciples of Madhavendra Puri. No, wait, hang on. No, they're actually godbrothers with Mahaprabhu. Okay, so, right, so they're actually godbrothers with Mahaprabhu. Sorry, I got that wrong. They're not disciples of Madhavendra Puri. I'm getting mixed up. No, they're godbrothers with Mahaprabhu.
Sorry, what chapter are you reading now?
We are on chapter 10. It's still in the same chapter, Adi Leela, yeah.
I just want to find for her in Vedavai so she can follow it. It's easier.
Okay, in the Spanish, yeah, that's nice. So this is a dilemma that, normally one won't want to accept service from their godbrother, right, or their godsister. And so, because one considers they are worshipable to me, they are servants of my guru, so why will I take their service for myself? So they come, but their guru had ordered them to assist Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ishvara Puri had given this instruction. So when they arrived to Puri, presenting this to Mahaprabhu, Ishvara Puri, our Gurudev, told us to come and serve you. Then Mahaprabhu says, no, but, how can I accept your service? And then there's a discussion that goes on. And then this point is made that the order of the Guru overrides everything else. And there's this injunction from the scripture that is quoted. And Gurudev quoted this as well. It's actually originally... It's originally in Parashuram, the Leela of Parashuram, it comes up, when he receives a very difficult service from his father, who he worships like his guru. And I don't want to say what that service is, because it's very heavy. He's ordered to do something very, very heavy.
To his brother and his mother, yeah?
No. Oh, I see. Okay. Yes.
Yeah?
Well, we don't want to talk about it right now. It's too heavy.
No, I was just wondering.
Along those lines, yeah. Let's just say he has to kill a family member. This is the order that comes, and which is the most. And of course, there were some reasons for that, but it's a very atrocious thing, ordinarily speaking. But this is the conclusion that, Agya Gurunam, that one must, without question, follow the order of the Guru. One must have full faith in Guru. And whatever comes, whatever order comes, we must unhesitatingly. And so there's some discussion, Mahaprabhu was saying, how can I accept their service? This is not appropriate for me. And then I don't remember who it is who cites this line from the Shastra, maybe Sarvabhauma. And then Mahaprabhu has to accept, our Gurudev ordered them to come and serve and assist me, then we have to accept that. That overrides every other consideration, cultural, social, spiritual, on every level. This is the final thing, And that this also reminds us of that famous verse in the Mahabharata, Tarko Prachishta Shutai Vibhina Nasavashir Yasya Matam Nabinam Dharmasya Tattvam Nihitam Guhayam Mahajno Yenagata Sepanta. That it's spoken by Yudhisthira Maharaj. That arguments, debate you cannot come to a conclusion simply on the basis of that, on the basis of argument. One can argue better than somebody else and then come to some faulty conclusion. So that is not the way to ascertain the truth. Shrutaya vibhina, the Shruti, the scriptures, they are so many, and they all have so many different opinions. So you also cannot come to a conclusion on the truth just on the basis of the scripture, because one side will argue one point, another side will argue another point, and you'll just get lost. The rishis, they have their own agenda. They want to come up with a new theory. So you cannot trust the rishis either. So dharmasya tattvam gihitam guhayam. So the real truth about dharma is hidden in the heart of the realized soul. So mahajano yena gata sapanta. So whatever the Mahajans advocate, whatever the great souls advocate, that line of truth, that path, that is Dharma. We will follow that. That is the final word. Dharma is living within their heart. They are Dharma. They don't need to follow a textbook, but they are the living manifestation of Dharma. So, and we're very fortunate because we had it is not always that, and we could even say perhaps it is not so common that one has the fortune of associating with that type of soul. And we had that type of experience with Srila Govinda Maharaj, and there was that type of atmosphere, surrounding him, that we all understood, that he was such a Mahajan, and anything that he would state, that would be higher than any scripture. We had a living experience of being in the company of such a soul. And then it's a very wonderful point, actually, to consider. And even now, when now he's not physically with us, but we are always remembering his instructions and how he dealt with certain things in different circumstances, right? He showed his example in so many different ways, and now we're drawing upon that. Remember, on this occasion, in these circumstances, our Gurudev acted like this, he said this, he gave this instruction, and so on, right? And then we may have so many different doubts for this reason or that reason, or this person is saying this, that person is saying that, and this scripture says this, and that scripture says that, and so on. But we can think back, this is how our Gurudev would have dealt with this. This was his consideration in this point. Then we are following that. We remember his example of chastity to his Guru. What were his priorities? Okay, need a little more. Then there's no question actually anymore. Gurudev mentioned how, if he, and he also said he liked that about Yudamanyu Prabhu, that Yudamanyu Prabhu had that spirit. Do you want this or not, Gurudev? and Gurudev also had that mood, and he mentioned that, that if there was ever any situation that came up, and he only wanted to know what was Guru Maharaj's desire. And he also said that later, when Srila Sridhar Maharaj had left the world, sometimes he would go and pray to the deities, in front of the deities. What is your order? And then when he would get some inspiration, some response, then that's it. Forget about everything else. Forget all the ifs, ands, and buts. But immediately, this is their will, this is their desire. Nothing else matters. There's this very, very nice quote. It's here in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's in the end of Madhya Lila, chapter 2, where Kaviraj Goswami is mentioning how different critics, they may say different things about how I've presented this text. And then there's this beautiful verse where he's saying that, I cannot become involved with everyone's likes and dislikes, but I am just telling the truth. That is all. I'm not saying anything to agitate anyone, disturb anyone, oppose, not trying to say anything to oppose anyone, nor am I trying to say anything to supplicate anyone, or to, flatter anyone like that. I don't have any agenda in that regard, but what is the truth? I am saying the truth. And I was there once when Gurudev quoted that line. It was in Vrindavan. He was very grave, and he was speaking about some situation with one of the sannyasis and how they were doing some preaching, and Gurudev said, oh, they're going into competition, right? He was saying how they're going into competition with another mission. Because that spirit can come, oh, my temple is bigger than your temple. My deities are bigger than your deities. Our prasadam is better than your prasadam. And Gurudev said, I'm not interested in that. I don't want to go into competition with anyone. It's not a competition. And he said, I am living with Guru Maharaj in Sri Chaitanya Saraswati, bas. He says, what is Guru Maharaj's desire? I'm following that. Bas. That is all. And then he quoted that verse, this verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I don't want to get involved with anyone's likes or dislikes and everyone's opinions, not going into competition. But I'm just following Guru Maharaj, very simple, clean, clear. I'm following Guru Maharaj. This is a very simple and wonderful way to live. We can eliminate so much anxiety. Oh, so-and-so is thinking this, and so-and-so is saying that. They have this opinion, who cares? They can all say whatever they want. They can all do whatever they want. But I'm following my Guru Maharaj. I'm following my Gurudev. That's it. Simple. Let's see where we are. So Govinda, Govinda's name comes up a lot later, right? He became the personal servant of Mahaprabhu. So Govinda cared for the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whereas Kashishvar went in front of the Lord when he went to see Jagannath in the temple. Aparash Jai Gosai Manushya Gahane Manushya Telipata Kore Kashi Balavane. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the temple of Jagannath, Kashishvar, being very strong, cleared the crowds aside with his hands so that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could pass untouched. Jai.
Jai.
Ramai Nandai Dohe Prabhu Kinkar Govinda Sanghe Seva Kore Nirantar. Ramai and Nandai, the 20th and 21st among the important devotees in Jagannath Puri, always assisted Govinda 24 hours a day in rendering service to the Lord. Vaisha Gara Jaldine Boden Ramai Govinda Gyai Seva Kore Nandai. Every day Ramai filled 22 big water pots, whereas Nandai personally assisted Govinda. Krishna Dasnam Shuddha Kulin Brahman Jade Sange Loya Koila Dakin Gaman. The 22nd devotee, Krishna Das, was born of a pure and respectable Brahmin family. While touring southern India, Lord Chaitanya took Krishna Das with him. Balabhaja Bhattacharya Bhakti Adikadi Mathura Gamane Prabhu Jeho Brahmachari. As a bona fide devotee, Balabhaja Bhattacharya, the 23rd principal associate, acted as the brahmachari of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he toured Mathura. Right, so this Balabhaja Bhattacharya, he was chosen. This was on, I think, was it the second? Right, this was later, the second big tour that Mahaprabhu made when he went to Mathura and Vrindavan. Because all of the devotees, of course, wanted to go with Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu requested them to choose somebody a little neutral, because everybody loves him too much, it's too intense. He says, it's one of the funniest portions of Chaitanya Charitamrita, because Mahaprabhu was getting ready to go, and they all want to go with him. Mahaprabhu was saying, but if Jagadananda comes with me, he's always trying to make things more comfortable, and he gives me all these comfortable mattresses and pillows and oil, body oils. This will be bad for my sannyas life. And if Damodar comes with me, he's always watching my every move, and he wants to instruct me in everything that I do. And Nityananda Prabhu, he broke my danda. I don't remember what he says about Nityananda Prabhu. It might be that, I don't remember. But he goes through this list. Everybody loves me so much, and they make it difficult for me to do my service. And I think he wanted to go alone, actually, but they insisted, no, you need someone with you to carry, at least to carry your water pot, to cook for you. And so they come to this compromise, that someone a little neutral, who doesn't know Mahaprabhu, so, not so intense, he'll go. So this Balabhaja is chosen. It's like a gentle, sober Brahmin. He serves Mahaprabhu. Bodo Haridasar, Toto Haridas, Dui Kirtaniya Rohe Mahaprabhu Pash. Bodo Haridas and Choto Haridas, the 24th and 25th devotees in Nilachal, were good singers who always accompanied Lord Chaitanya. So this is different from the Thakur Haridas Thakur. Ramabhaja Charja Roja Simheshwar Tapana Charja Raguni Lambar. Among the devotees who lived with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri, Ramabhaja Acharya was the 26th, Simheshwar the 27th, Tapanacharya the 28th, Raghunath Bhattacharya the 29th, and Nilambar the 30th. Singhabhatta, Kamabhatta, Dantur Shivananda, Gore Purva Britya Prabhu Priya Kamalananda. Singhabhatta was the 31st, Kamabhatta the 32nd, Shivananda the 33rd, and Kamalananda the 34th. They all formerly served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bengal, but later these servants left Bengal to live with the Lord in Jagannath Puri. Achyutananda Dvaita Charja Tanoi Nila Chole Rohe Prabhu Charana Ashray. Achyutananda, the 35th devotee, was the son of Advaita Acharya. He also lived with Lord Chaitanya, taking shelter of his lotus feet at Jagannath Puri. Nirlam Ganga Das Ar Vishnu Das Se Sabe Prabhu Sangha Nila Chole Vas. Nirlam Ganga Das and Vishnu Das were the 36th and 37th among the devotees who lived at Jagannath Puri as servants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Varanasi Madhya Prabhu Bhakta Teen Jan Chanja Shekhar Vaidya Mishra Tapan Raghunath Bhattacharya Mishra Nandan Prabhu Jabe Kashi Aila Deki Vrindavan Chanja Shekhar Grihe Koilo Dui Masavas Tapan Mishra Gore Bika Dui Mas. The prominent devotees at Varanasi were the physician Chanja Shekhar. There were two Chanja Shekhars. There's one in Navadvip and one in Varanasi. So in Varanasi, then Tapan Mishra and Raghunath Bhattacharya, Tapan Mishra's son. And this Raghunath, of course, he later becomes known as one of the 6 Goswamis. When Lord Chaitanya came to Varanasi after seeing Vrindavan, for 2 months he lived at the residence of Chanja Shekhar Vaidya and accepted prasadam at the house of Tapan Mishra. Right, so he lived at Chanja Shekhar's place and took prasad and Tapan Mishra. Raghunath Balya Koilo Prabhu Sevan Uchishta Marjanar Padasambaham. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at the house of Tapan Mishra, Raghunath Bhatta, who was then a boy, washed his dishes and massaged his legs. Very special service, special grace. Gora hoile nilachale, gela praborstane, ashtamasa rahilo bikka deno kondine. When Raghunath grew to be a young man, he visited Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri and stayed there for 8 months. Sometimes he offered prasadam to the Lord. Prabhu Ragya Paya Vrindavane Re Aila Asya Shirupa Gosaya Nikate Rohila. Later, by the order of Lord Chaitanya, Raghunath went to Vrindavan and remained there under the shelter of Srila Rupa Goswami. Tarstane Rupa Gosai Shunen Bhagavat Prabhu Kripai Teho Krishna Prememat. While he stayed with Srila Rupa Goswami, his engagement was to recite Srimad Bhagavatam for him to hear. As a result of this Bhagavatam recitation, he attained perfectional love of Krishna, by which he remained always maddened. Right, so this is Raghunath Bhatta. We hear that his chanting of Bhagavatam was very, very sweet. Very beautiful. Emata Sankyatita Chaitanya Bhaktagan Din Machaliki Samyak Najai Katan. I list in this way only a portion of the innumerable devotees of Lord Chaitanya. To describe them all fully is not possible. Ekaika shakate lage koti koti dal, tar shishya upa shishya tar upadal. From each branch of the tree have grown hundreds and thousands of sub-branches of disciples and grand disciples. Sakal bariyache prema phol phale, pasaila chi jagat Krishna prema jale. Every branch and sub-branch of the tree is full of innumerable fruits and flowers. They inundate the world with the waters of love of Krishna. Ek ek shakar shakti ananta mahima, sahasravadane jadite nadesima. Each and every branch of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees has unlimited spiritual power and glory. Even if one had thousands of mouths, it would be impossible to describe the limits of their activities. Sankepe kohilo maha prabhu bhaktagan, samagra bolite nade sahasravanan. I have briefly described the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in different places. Even Lord Shesh, who has thousands of mouths, could not list them all. Shri Rupa Raghunath Bhade Jaras Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishna Das. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy. I, Krishna Das, narrate Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. So we've come to the end of that chapter, and then the next chapter we hear about all of the branches, the sub-branches on the principal branch of Nityananda Prabhu. And then after that, I think Advaita Acharya, right? Advaita Acharya and Gadadhar Pandit. Any comments or questions from anyone? Should we end there today? Beautiful. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Krishna's Kaviraj Kusuma ki jai. Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Jadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Gopal Govindaram Shrimadusudana.
Gopal Govindaram Shrimadusudana.
Yedid Hadi Gopinata Madana Mohana.
Yedid Hadi Gopinata Madana Mohana.
Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda.
Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Jai Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha. Ishai Gosai Koli Charana Vandana. Ishai Gosai Koli Charana Vandana. Jaha Vaite Vishnana Adhisa Purana. Jaha Vaite Vishnana Adhisa Purana. Ishai Gosai Jai Muvita Dasa. Ishai Gosai Jai Muvita Dasa. Kansavara Padarinu Mora Panchalasa. Kansavara Padarinu Mora Panchalasa. Mandira Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanivasa. Mandira Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanivasa. Jana Ne Jana Me Moha Abhilasha. Jana Me Moha Abhilasha. Ishai Gosai Jade Braje Koilabasa. Gosai Jade Braje Koilabasa. Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Kodira Prakasha. Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Kodira Prakasha. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavana. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavana. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majaya Mana. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Karma Pariyasha. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Karma Pariyasha. Shri Guru Vaishnava
Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Vimalacharya Maharaj ki.
Jai.
Om Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki.
Jai.
Om Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Vakak Srila Dev Goswami Maharaj ki.
Jai.
Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki.
Jai.
Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki.
Jai.
Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki.
Jai.
Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Sri Acharya Vrinda ki.
Jai.
Sabashadi Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki.
Jai.
Sabashadi Sri Mama Prabhu ki.
Jai.
Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki.
Jai.
Tulasi Maharani ki.
Jai.
Ganga Yamuna Chu ki.
Jai.
Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki.
Jai.
Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj ki.
Jai.
Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki.
Jai.
Sri Navadvitam ki.
Jai.
Sri Navadvitam ki.
Jai.
Sri Vrindavanam ki.
Jai.
Sri Purushottamadam ki.
Jai.
Jagannath Baladev Subhadraju ki.
Jai.
Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat ki.
Jai.
Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat East London Chapter ki.
Jai.
Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat West London Chapter ki.
Jai.
All glories to the assembled devotees ki.
Jai.
All glories to the world devotees ki.
Jai.
Sri Yukta Vishakha Devi ki.
Jai.
Harinam Sankirtan ki.
Jai.
Nitai Gaur Premanande.